race. I had her up.
Are you staying in or going out?
Today, I'm going to tell you what, they got a great track. Got a great track out here today. Track conditions are in awesome shape. Looks like it's going to rain at any minute. I don't know what's going to happen, but we are going to have a great race. And keep in mind, the King of Shell's main sponsor is CC Power Sports. That is CC Power Sports. A lot of locations out there, one in Clarksville, Indiana. But that is our main sponsor of the race for the season. We got Brackney Motorsports is a sponsor of the tabletop. Interstate Batteries is a sponsor of the Whoops. Ross Brothers Transmissions, Anderson and Sales and Service, Wayne's Polaris, and Super ATV. Driveway and Dumpsters is our sponsors of the park here this year. And now they're getting ready to come up to the Brannick Tabletop. Haven't even completed the first lap. They just started. This is our 1,000 class right here. 1,000 class, CC, 1,000 CC. These guys are ready to go, foaming at the mouth, ready to go. Got a little bit of dust flying today, but they did put a little water on the track yesterday, and they put a little water on the track this morning. But I believe it'll be okay. All right. Right now they're going over the interstate battery whoops right there, and nothing takes a beating like the interstate batteries. If you have a battery problem, get you an interstate battery put in there. We do also sell them here at the Dirty Turtle Off-Road Park here in Bedford, Kentucky. We do sell the batteries. We got the Optima batteries. We got the Razor batteries here in stock right now today. We do have them in stock. We also do have the trickle chargers in stock also. So you can go online and visit and check and make reservations for our campsites. We do have a lot of new things this year. We have electric on site, RV parking. We do not have water hookups, and we don't have the sewage dump here on the sites as far as the camping parking goes. But we've got the electric on site, and we got a lot more gravel out here this year for great parking facilities. We have 8 shower houses, so make your reservations online. Give them a call. Find out what all the events is going on. Follow us on Facebook. We really appreciate it. And keep in mind, this is a 12-lap course today. We are going down through the Woods course, which the Woods course I was told was in great shape. I didn't get a chance to run down and go through it, but they say it's in great shape today. The hills are not real slippery and all rotted out like it was last race because of all the rain we had, just tons and tons of rain the week beforehand. But the staff out here at the Dirty Turtle Off-Road Park here in Bedford, Kentucky has done an awesome job keeping this track together, keeping it going. And I tell you what, today it's going to show. This is going to be a fast track. So here in a few minutes, we're going to see who's in what place. And I'm going to get them lined up here in front of me here. But like I said, we've got the fast of the fast up here today running, and they are going to absolutely love the track. Okay, race fans, I'm going to step out here with them real quick. And yes, and Zach Martin came out first. John Vincent right on his tail right there. I'll tell you what, they just went over the Brackney tabletop. And, man, they are just pouring a coat to it today out here, and just a little bit of dust flying. Like I said, they're doing a great job, and these guys are loving the track conditions. You can absolutely tell. Zach Martin right now is going over the interstate battery whoops. Remember, nothing takes the beating like the interstate batteries. And Zach Martin just came across and just pulled the front wheels in that Yamaha. Wow, going into the Talladega turn right now. Vincent coming in right in behind him there. I'll tell you what, these guys are ready to go. We got Chris Aitney's in second place right now. I mean, like I said, he's in second place right now. And John Vincent is behind him, so they must have passed him down in the woods. Now, they did work all winter on this woods course. Let me tell you, race fans, this woods course is pretty good. It's around 20 feet wide down in the woods. So you got room to pass, that's for sure. Okay, right now we've got Zach Martin's up in the first place, and Chris Aitney is running in second. John Vincent's running in third, and we have Joe Bogus is trailing in behind. But I'll tell you what, the race has just started, race fans. It has just started. These guys are just getting that woods course is really changing a lot. As you know, the Yamahas, they're gear-driven, and they don't have the belts and stuff. So them guys tend to drive them Yamahas. They're fast as could be on the straight stretches. But when it comes to the hills, them RZR Yamaha players or Can-Ams or whatever, those guys got the advantage because the only thing they do is got to hit the skinny pedal and hit the fat pedal to stop. So there is a big difference there, you know. So we're going to see how long it takes them to go around this course here. And like I said, this is going to be a fast course today. And our main sponsor of this race, this King of the Shell this year, is CC Power Sports. Don't forget CC Power Sports. They have Yamaha players. They've got it all over there. Great place to go in. They've got a huge selection of parts. Got a great sales staff and service staff. Here comes Zach Martin's coming out first. Man, I tell you what, Zach Martin, what a driver. Can't talk enough about this guy. He just pushes that machine to the limit. We got Chris Aitney coming right there, and John Vincent right on his tail, and Joe Bogus. How about that, race fans? These guys, you need to be here to watch it. I know you're watching it live online, the live feed and everything, and I appreciate you doing that. Really, really do. But race fans, I'm telling you what, if you were here right now watching it, you would just enjoy it to the fullest extent. Because, man, there's nothing like watching live action right here. Especially down in that woods course, it's really changing these guys up a bunch. So right now we've got Zach running up in. Zach Martin's in the lead. Chris Aitney's coming in second, and John Vincent is trying to get around Chris. And we got Joe Bogus is in the back. But Joe Bogus, I'm not giving up on Joe. He's a great driver, got a great machine, and he will pull it up through the front there. Now they're going over the interstate battery whoops right there. Remember, nothing beats an interstate battery like the whoops does. Coming in the Talladega turn. These guys right now are running single file. Not close enough to be bumping yet, but they're going to get closing up here in just a second. I think the woods course is where it's at. If they can gain a little bit up on them on the track, the woods course pushes them guys together a little bit. Okay, race fans, they just went down into the woods right there. And like I said, the woods course, we don't have very many cameras down there in the woods course, but I tell you, we got a lot of guys with great staff up here. We got the great staff that these guys, if they happen to flip over or something, we've got the staff here at Dirty Turtle Off-Road Park. During any kind of race events, we've got them staged throughout specific areas down in the woods and stuff. So if you do flip over, we can get you flipped back over and get you out. If something happens, emergency, whatever, we've got it under control. And we really appreciate the race fans here today, and definitely appreciate you watching us live online. But definitely talk about our sponsors as much as we can. Our sponsors, the main sponsor is CC Power Sports, Bracknick Motorsports, one of the sponsors of our tabletop. Interstate Badgers is one of our sponsors for the Whoops. Ross Brothers Transmission, sponsors of our park, is going to be Ross Brothers Transmission, Anderson and Sales and Service, Wayne's Polaris. Wayne's Polaris, can't talk enough good about them guys. Awesome staff up there. Great service department located in LaGrange. Super ATV, man, Super ATV. Those guys have got a ton of great aftermarket parts and driveway dumpsters. Now we got Zach Martin coming up out of the woods right now, and man, he is putting some distance in between them. Chris Ankney running in second right now, and John Vincent's trying to gain up on Chris Ankney real quick, and Joe Bogus. Those guys are running tight. Race fans, when they come out of that woods course, they are running packed together. Wow. They are doing a great, great job. What a job these guys are doing. And like I said, I knew the track would probably tighten up a lot, and these guys are getting it. I mean, it has got so good. I heard the track has really tightened up a lot, and now these guys are gaining more time, more speed, and getting traction in the corners. And now we've got a lot of dust flying. Man, going over the Interstate Battery Whoops right there. Looks like Joe Bogus is putting in some distance in between, out behind him. Now they're going into Talladega corner. Turn right there. Zach Martin is doing a great job. And I think out on the straight stretches where Zach Martin gets all his lead at, because when he put him on a straight stretch, it's over. And Chris Ankney, he is not taking no prisoners, but right now Joe Bogus is gaining some speed. And John Vincent, he is just keeping it going. John Vincent, that's one thing about him. He keeps it just at a mellow pace the whole way. I mean, he drives it wide open. I'm not taking nothing away from John Vincent. He is a great, great driver, and he's got a great machine. But he is pushing it to the limits, that's for sure. They just went down into the woods course. And we got a little bit of raindrops right now coming down. Probably just enough to knock the dust down just a little bit, not enough to wet the track at all. The drivers are probably really enjoying it. You can hear them down in that woods course down there. Like I said, they've got to slow down. I mean, they can't run wide open all the way through the woods course, so it does make an advantage for the different drivers that are better on the hill climbs and turns, rights, lefts, and up and downs and stuff, especially if you're driving the gear-driven Yamaha versus the RZR belt-driven. So it definitely makes a difference there. Okay, let's see who's up in the lead now. Sound like they're getting ready to come out of the woods course. It sounds like a bunch of bumblebees down here today. These guys are running them open pipes and stuff on these Yamahas. And you can't see them. It's just echoing around the woods. It's like I said, race fans, you need to be here. Come down here and watch these races. The King of the Shell, we've got them online. Go on Facebook. Check out our schedules and come down here and visit us and watch these races. You would enjoy the staff and everybody. Right now, here comes Zach Martin right there. Zach Martin coming out. And comes out wide open. And reaches over and shifts the gear. He don't even have the paddle shifter. He shifts the gear. There's Chris Ankney right there. And Joe Vincent right behind him. And Joe Bogus back here doing a great job. Joe Bogus is eating a lot of dirt today, race fans. But you know what? That's what I like about Joe Bogus. He's not giving up. Going over the Bracknick tabletop right there, the big Bracknick tabletop. Joe Bogus is clearing the whole 100-foot. He's not taking anything away from him, though, because he is a great driver, got a great machine, and eating a lot of dirt today. He'll be chewing dirt for a week, I'm sure. But he's staying right in there. And I'll tell you what, John Vincent is not giving up, that's for sure. He's trying to put as less distance between him and Chris Ankney as possible. And Zach Martin, man, the way he drives, once he gets out in the lead, he is tough to even get close to because he knows what to do. He puts himself right out there in first place. He pushes that machine he's got all the way to the limits and does a great job of keeping that distance. He does not let off like some drivers do once they get a big lead. He stays in it all the way, and we call it in it to win it. Okay, Zach Martin right now, race fans, is getting ready to drop down into the woods. Chris Ankney right now is getting ready to drop into the woods there, to the woods course. Joe Vincent is just on his tail. Joe Bogus, he's ready to go. And Joe's probably pretty excited to be out of the open course here and back into the woods course, because I'm sure it's probably not as dirty down there in the woods course, or dusty, I mean, as it is up here. Because, like I said, they do have to stop, turn, and different things like not really stop. They slow down a lot, so it's got to make a big difference. Wind's blowing pretty good here today, too, probably about 5 miles an hour or something like that. And like I said, little raindrops. It's going to be pretty good conditions to help keep the dust down. But the guys here at the staff here at the Dirty Turtle Off-Road Park in Bedford, Kentucky, has done a great job. Like I said, they always do a great job on the track, and Will and them, they take a lot of time, and they check this track out, and they roll it in and stuff, and they try to make it as smooth as possible. With all the rain we've had this spring, it's been pretty tough for them, but these guys are doing a good job. A lot of great staff out here and volunteers. But be sure and go on Facebook and check us out, like us, follow us, look at all of our upcoming events. Come down to one of our events, call us up, make some arrangements, make camping arrangements. We've got 8 showers in our shower houses. We've got a great, nice shower house up here with hot water, AC, and heat in the shower houses also. And also, we've also got some really nice cabins up here for rent. I believe they're around $75 a night for the weekends. So come down here and check us out. You don't need to bring the camper. Just bring a rig, four-wheeler, bring the family. This is definitely a family-oriented park. Bring the kids, all kinds of stuff for the kids to do. Here comes Zach Martin, just come out of the woods right now. Getting ready to go across the start-finish line. And Chris Ankney is trying to put some time. Get up a little closer to him as they possibly can. And right there goes John Vincent right on Chris Ankney, man. Those guys are beating each other up. And Joe Bogus in the back. Joe Bogus doing a great job. And right now, Chris Ankney's going over the Brannick tabletop. John Vincent right on his tail is not cutting any slack right there. But Chris Ankney is doing a great job today. Chris, man, you are on it today, Chris. But I believe it's going to be tough for you, buddy, to get up there to Zach Martin, that's for sure. But don't look behind you, Chris, because John Vincent is right there knocking on you, writing down your license number. I'm telling you, he's right on you. But, of course, they're going across right there. Zach Martin just went across the interstate battery whoops. And, man, when he goes across those whoops, I'm telling you, race fans, you need to be here to watch this. When he goes across the whoops, he does not let off of it. His machine bounces front to back. Front wheels go up in the air. The back wheels go. He does not care. He pushes that machine like no other. What a tough Yamaha. Man, of course, he's an awesome driver, too. All right, there goes Zach Martin's getting ready to go down to the woods right now. Chris Ankney's going into the woods with John Vincent right on his tail. What a great job. It looks like Joe Bogus might have slowed down a little bit. I don't know if he's kind of given up on trying to get up into the second place area or not. Hopefully he's not having any kind of mechanical problems or failures or anything. Joe Bogus has done a great job today. I mean, he just needs to get back up in there, and it's tough, man. Once you get down just a little bit, whether it's a half of a second, 2 or 3 seconds, man, it's just hard to gain that back up. And the only thing you can hope for is the gentleman in front of you slow down or have a flat tire or something so you can go around him. I know we don't want to talk about that, but that's kind of what you hope for when you're out there racing is the guy in front of you has some kind of mechanical failure so you can pass him if you can't catch him, that's for sure. But the wind is definitely blowing good today. It's keeping the dust away from the race fans up here. Doing an awesome job. I believe the rain's going to hold off, though, until around 5 or 6 o'clock, so we should be good to go. After this class here today, which we're running a 1,000cc class, stock class right now, we're going to have a little intermission break, and then we'll be back. We're going to let some of these racers rest for a minute. We'll come back with the outlaw class, which is a 1,000cc class. Rung what you brung. Hope you brung it up is what we always like to say in the race world. Okay, you sound like a bunch of bumblebees, and these are coming up out of the woods here in just a second. Okay, we got Zach Martin coming out first again. Zach is holding that lead. What a driver right there, race fans. You got Chris Ankney. He's holding on to it. He's doing a good job. Right behind him is John Vincent. I guarantee you Chris is not looking in his mirror because he can probably hear John Vincent in the background. I'm telling you, that's how close on some of these turns and stuff. Joe Bogus right there, he's doing a good job too. Joe Bogus, he's keeping it right in there, that's for sure.
Okay, Joe Boggins is going over the Bradnick tabletop. Coming down a little heavy in the front, but that's how these Yamahas do. But these guys seem to keep them together, man. They hit hard in the front, but they keep them together. Okay, Zach Martin right there in the first place here right now. He's going across. Look at him go across that interstate battery whoops. Wow. I don't see how that machine stays together, how you can even hold on to the steering wheel. He hits that so hard. I mean, it literally does. That thing's bucking like an old bull out there. It comes up in the rear end, and all of a sudden the front end comes way up in the air and hits hard again. And I assure you, you probably don't have a race seat in there. So this is a 12-lap race here today. I'm not for sure which lap we're on. I have to step inside here to see which lap we're on. We've got to be getting pretty close now. Zach Martin just went down into the woods, the woods course. Chris Ankney and John Vincent right behind him. Looks like Joe Boggins is kind of being a little bit easy on, but you know what? It might not be a bad idea. You know, if you can't, you put that distance in between them, and if these guys just run that consistent wide open speed, it's just hard to get in there. And you know what? Sometimes it's better to take your last place or fourth place or whatnot and keep your machine together for hopefully a better pole position for the next race, for sure. But at least finish the race. He's doing a great job. And you can just tell sometimes when he slows down a little bit. So, like I said, that's good. That might be a great decision. At least he'll be the one driving his side by side up on the trailer tonight, and he can go home and wash and change fluids and be ready for the next race and hope for a better pole position. Because that's what it's all about, that's for sure.
We're going to talk about our sponsors real quick, race fans. Main sponsor this year is CC Power Sports. We got Brannick Motorsports going to be the sponsor of our tabletop. Interstate Batteries is a sponsor of our whoops. And we also have our park sponsors this year is Ross Brothers Transmission, Anderson Sales and Service, Wayne's Polaris, Super ATV, and Driveway Dumpsters. That's some of our park sponsors right there, ladies and gentlemen. And our track sponsors.
Okay, coming up out of the woods right now, we got Zach Martin. Zach Martin right there. Coming up out of the woods, and we got Chris Ankney right here on his tail. And John Benson is holding it wide open and doing a good job. Okay, we're looking for Joe Boggins. It's an awful lot of distance there. I'm not sure where Joe Boggins is at. We're looking for Joe.
Here comes Joe Boggins right there.
Awesome job. Okay, right there, Joe Boggins is getting ready to come over the Brannick tabletop. Good job. He is running pretty conservative, but he's doing a great job of handling the machine, that's for sure. Okay, now right over there, John Vincent's going over the interstate battery whoops over there. Remember, nothing takes a beating like an interstate battery. Interstate battery is a great battery to have. We do have it here in stock at the store, here at the Dirty Turtle Off-Road Park in Bedford, Kentucky. And remember, DirtyTurtleOffRoadPark.com. Like us on Facebook. Go on Facebook and share. Check out our race schedule coming up. Send us a message, and we're all time looking for great sponsorship. So if you'd like to sponsor us, come on down, give us a holler, look us up online, give us a call, get a hold of us, let us know. Be more than happy to get you set up for sponsorship. You can sponsor the Woods course, or if you wanted to sponsor a race, if you have one race that one of your favorite drivers is going to be in and you just want to sponsor one race, you know what? That's fine. Get a hold of us. We'll make it work for you. We've got a lot of great staff down here, that's for sure. Everybody down here that's willing to work with you and work for you, that's for sure. We're here to have a good, safe time. This is a family-oriented park. We try to do everything the right way, that's for sure, and make sure everybody has a great time. We do have a lot of great events coming up. Be sure to go online and check out our event schedule. Copy, paste it, send it to all your friends. Like I said, you need to come down and watch these King of the Show races, race fans. They are a great time. And there's nothing like listening to them live and watching them live race. You can go down the Woods course. There's places that you could be a spotter, just sit down there watching them. pick out your favorite hill, whether you want to watch them race up this hill or race around the corner down in the woods course, you can go down there, and as long as it's a safe place to sit and watch them, you're more than welcome to. That's one thing about here at Dirty Turtle Off-Road Park. Okay, Zach Martin right there, race fans coming up out. He's the first one out, of course. Look at him, man. He's just jerking himself around inside that machine. The fenders are flopping and everything. Chris Aitney coming up here in second place. Look at him go. John Vincent right on his tail, boys. Don't look behind you, Chris. You know he's there, Chris. You know he's there. Right there. Over that Brannick tabletop right there. Chris Aitney and John Vincent just went over it. That Zach Martin's machine really cracks me up because I will tell you what, race fans, he don't have the big fancy machine like some people do. His fenders are flopping and going around here. He's got a lot of great sponsors on the side of it. That's for sure. But, man, what a driver right there going over to Interstate Battery. Whoops right there. Remember, nothing takes a beating like Interstate Batteries. Joe Bogus right there going over the Brannick tabletop. Brannick Motorsports. Now they're going into Talladega. Turn right there. Zach Martin, of course, has got the lead, and Zach is just doing a great job. And I'll tell you something about Zach that I've learned in the last couple, 3 races I've watched him run. He's very consistent. He sets a pace, and once he sets a pace, he stays with it. And, of course, if you're in first place, as long as, and you know, of course you're in first place and you set your pace and you stick with it, you're going to stay there for sure. And while the other guys behind you are going to struggle, and it's hard for them guys to sit that pace because you know what? They don't want to be second or third or fourth. They want to be up in the first place, so those guys are struggling and fighting. That's one thing Zach Martin does. He puts out a pretty good distance between him and the other drivers. Once he gets that distance, he is very consistent. It's like a stopwatch. Every time he comes around, man, he just sets it, and he gets basically almost the same time every time he comes around. He stays very, very consistent. He doesn't slow down like some guys do, which there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're in first place, you can do that. But Zach stays about pretty consistent on his time and laps. Hits every turn about the same way. Hits the tabletop and the whoops the same way. I mean, it's clockwork. And I guess that's what it takes right there to keep your first place lead. And he always gets a great pole position because race fans, keep your eye on this Zach Martin guy. He gets out here and he runs wide open. He gives that machine all it has for sure. The wind is still kind of blowing pretty good out here today. Oh, here we go. Zach Martin coming up out of the woods right there. Running up into first place right now. Great job. Chris Aitney right there. Oh, my gosh. John Vincent was almost on his bumper. I tell you what, John Vincent is getting in there. And John Vincent just came across the start-finish line, and he was almost completely sideways. Woo! Look at that. Zach Martin just went over the Brannick tabletop right there, race fans, and had to head all the way down on his machine. It's a wonder something didn't break or tear up. He had that machine. I mean, he cleared the whole 100-foot tabletop, and when he come down, race fans, I wish I had a camera or video on that. When he come down, his whole front end on his right side hit first, and I thought it was going to spin him around. And I tell you what, one mistake like that, that's what it's going to take. And Chris Aitney, John Vincent will definitely go past him. And there goes Joe Bogus right there. Joe's keeping it consistent, and that's good. But like I said, race fan, even though that Zach Martin has got this lead like he does, for some reason, man, he looks like he's trying to put more distance in between him to guarantee him the first place position. But he did. He got a little bit heavy on the skinny pedal there. I'm not sure what he was thinking. But that's one thing about this track out here. This track is not just a beginner track, that's for sure. You've got to take the right side, know which side to take the groove, and know how to take these humps and whoops and stuff, that's for sure. Because it's very easy to get sideways when you come off that hoop right there or come up over the tabletop. Man, it'll put you right on your side when you get them down the bottom, that's for sure. Yeah, Joe slowed down a little bit, but you know what? That's fine. Like I said, Joe Boggers will be pulling his machine up on the trailer tonight, not have to go home and beat on it and work on it and spend a bunch of money. But you know what? I don't know the whole story on it. Maybe Joe Boggers is having some mechanical problems. I'm not really sure. It sounds like it's running pretty good. He is a definitely great driver, and he's got a great machine. But we appreciate Joe coming up here today and racing with us for sure. Take nothing away from him, that's for sure. That'd been great to have that on video, though. I'd like to see that front end hit on Zach Martin, man. He come down, and I'm telling you, race fans, his right side, when he come down, his right side was smashed up into the dirt and then just bounced him around, and it went to the left. But, you know, Zach, he's not a beginner driver. This ain't his first rodeo for sure. He pulled it back, hit his brakes, pulled it back, and he somehow got around this corner. He did a good job. I think once he come down, he probably said, oh, crap, and hit his brakes real quick and then gassed it. Put his back end back down to level him back out to go around the corner. But anytime, that's what you do. I mean, because these Yamahas, these gear drive Yamahas, when they come over this tabletop's approximately about 100 foot. When they go over the tabletop, most of them are clearing it because these guys are running 50 to 60 miles an hour when they go over the top of this tabletop, and that's what it takes to clear it. Okay, here comes Zach Martin. Looks like everything looks good with his front end. Yeah, everything's looking good with his front end. I don't see anything broke or anything. And there goes Chris Aitney right behind him. And John Vincent. Looks like John Vincent had a little more distance there. Okay, that's a little better right there. Zach Martin, he leveled that one out. So what Zach Martin did, I think he said, well, you know what? Maybe I don't need to hit that tabletop, that Brannick Motorsports tabletop that hard. Maybe I'll just hit it a little bit easier. And that's what he done. Because he knows if he hits that too hard again, that when he comes down, he's going to destroy something. And he doesn't need to do that because he's got quite a bit of a lead right there. Here comes Joe Boggers right there doing a great job. Okay, Zach Martin, Chris Aitney, and Joe Vincent's going over the Interstate Battery Whoops right there. Remember, race fans, nothing takes a beating like Interstate Battery. Oh, my gosh, Chris Aitney has got mechanical problems. Chris Aitney has got mechanical problems right out of the whoops. Not for sure what's going on there. So that's going to put John Vincent right up in second place. Chris Aitney's got problems right there and coming out of the whoops right there, the Interstate Battery Whoops. And Joe Vincent's going to put him right up in second place. And looks like right now we got a yellow flag coming out of the Interstate Battery Whoops, going into the Talladega turn. Wow, Chris has really done an awesome job, man, keeping that second place. I hate to see that, but race fans, what have I been telling you the whole race? Chris, don't look behind you, because guess who's behind you beating on the door? I guarantee he could hear John Vincent back there. But Chris is an incredible driver, got a great machine today. Not for sure what broke, what happened. I guarantee, man, it's had to be something. He's got to be beating himself up in there right now, just wondering what in the heck is broke, what's going on. But hopefully he can get it fixed. There's nothing major, and he'll be back on the track, ready to go. And we still got a yellow flag coming right out of the Interstate Battery Whoops, coming into the Talladega corner. And Chris Aitney machine is still broke down over there. So, man, it must be something bad. Because, boy, I tell you what, race fans, when he stopped, it stopped quick. Maybe it's just a belt or something. I don't know. We're going to get somebody over there and get the machine off the track, which is not too bad because he's on the inside turn there. So everybody can get around him pretty easily. And right now, it looks like Will Sensor right there is getting ready to come out with these white flags. So, race fans, this is a 12-lap race, and right here now, they completed lap number 11, and working on lap 12. And there goes Zach Martin, race fans. Zach Martin doing a great job, and John Vincent right there is coming in second in buggy number 84. And the Brannick Motorsports tabletop right there, with a picture-perfect jump right there and a picture-perfect landing for Zach Martin. And John Vincent right on his tail. Now, I'll tell you what, John, you don't have much, buddy, but I tell you what, you got one lap to catch him, so let's see you do it. The race fans, if anybody can do it, it's going to be John Vincent right there, that's for sure. John has been racing up here for a long time, and I love watching John Vincent race. He's very, very, very competitive and does an awesome job. And we're still got a yellow flag coming out of the interstate battery whoops, so that's going to slow the traffic down a little bit. Race fans, you know what happens when the traffic slows down a little bit. That means the guy behind him is going to get a little better chance. And right there is Joe Bogus. Okay. Well, Zach Martin already started letting off his a little bit, so Zach's going to be a little bit easier on his because I'm sure Zach Martin's probably going to run in the outlaw class. So right now we have 3 on the track. Zach Martin's getting ready to drop off into the woods course. And John Vincent is going to sneak in right in behind him into the woods course. Of course, Joe Bogus, he's just taking his time, and I don't blame him one bit. I'd take my time, too, because you know what? Joe Bogus is no longer in 4th place. He's in 3rd place. And unfortunately, Chris Ankney's machine broke down today. Man, I hope he gets it fixed. I'm not sure if he's running in the outlaw class or not. But if he is, I hope he gets it fixed. And right now we got just a little bit more rain coming down. It's starting to really drizzle now. And we're going to have an intermission right after this race here. Let some of the machines cool down. All the machines are going to be cooling down and stuff. As soon as the machines cool down, we get about a 20-minute, 30-minute break. And hopefully Chris Ankney can get his machine fixed and ready to go if he's going to run an outlaw class. Not really for sure. But we'll get him pulled off here in just a minute. No big deal. Hopefully he'll be back out for the outlaw race. Okay, this is going to be the final lap right here, race fans, as soon as they come up out of the woods. With the rain conditions changed a little bit, it's going to get the track wet, so that means, guess what? It's going to be slippery in the woods course also, but that's going to be the last place that the water's going to get to. It's going to be more of a track difficulty, and changing of the track might hinge a little bit. But I watched Zach Martin and John Vincent, all them race out here in the rain, and you know what? Those guys can do it. They're used to it. Okay, Will just got out the checker flag. Get ready to complete lap number 12. Race fans, here comes a Zach Martin right here. He's going to take the checker flag. Zach Martin's going to take the checker flag right here. King of the Shell, Dirty's Hurdle Off-Road Park in Bedford, Kentucky with John Vincent right on his tail. What a great 12-lap race right there with the woods course included. Guys did a great job. My hat off to all the guys out here racing today for sure. Zach Martin coming in first place. What a driver. What a race. Man, so consistent. So consistent, that's for sure. And then John Vincent's coming in there, and John is probably saying, man, if I just had a couple more laps, I could have been up on him. Had me a chance at that first place. Now we're waiting on Joe Bogus. He'll be the last one to come out. And the lineup should be Zach Martin coming in first place, and John Vincent in second place, Joe Bogus in third, and Chris Ankney in fourth. So here in just a minute, we're going to take a quick intermission, let the machines cool down. We're going to get Chris Ankney off the track, and we'll sign off here in just a minute, and we'll be back in a few minutes, probably about 10 to 15 minutes, I'd say. Let them cool down and get everything together. We're going to come back with our outlaw class race fans. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Stay tuned.